Hi everyone, and thanks for being with me. Now, there was a bit of a controversy, I guess one could say, in Parliament today, where Sussan Lee decided that she was going to have a go at Clare O'Neill, and it's like a cat fight, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to cats. But the Liberal Party decided to set their resident attack dog, using another animal analogy, on Clare O'Neill. And I don't mean any disrespect for dogs either. But in this particular case, Clare O'Neill apparently, allegedly, had a heated discussion with the Secretary of Home Affairs, in which the Secretary, according to Lee, left the meeting upset and in tears. Now, probably not the first time this has ever happened between a minister and the Secretary, but it clearly was the case here, according to Sussan Lee. Now, as a result of that, they decided that in question time, they would target Clare O'Neill. Now, the reason why they've chosen to target her specifically is because when it comes to her attacking Dutton and the way by which Dutton and the previous government left her department, she believes that or Clare O'Neill believes that it's appropriate to attack him at every turn, which she does, and I must confess, has been relatively effective. And clearly now they have got something they can grasp onto about something that may harm Clare. So I'm going to play you all of the questions that are asked and the responses by Clare O'Neill. There are quite a few. It's about 5 or 6 minutes, I think, of them in total. But just for you to look at, to query, to wonder about, and to wonder, as I did, is this appropriate use of parliamentary time?
My question is to the Minister for Home Affairs. Can the Minister confirm that she verbally abused the Secretary of her department, causing the Secretary to leave her office in tears?
Give a call to the Minister for Home Affairs and the Minister for Cyber Security.
Thank you so much, Speaker. I thank the Deputy Leader of the Opposition for her question. The Secretary of my department and I have worked together really closely, and boy have we got a job to do, Speaker, because we are working together to reform a department that was left in an absolute mess by the Leader of the Opposition. And Speaker, look at what we've achieved on this together over the past year that we've been working together, Speaker. A cybersecurity strategy for our country, which is leading the world. A migration strategy that is fixing the mess left by the Leader of the Opposition in that system that isn't working. A big focus on integrity, Speaker, that is addressing some of the issues that I've raised with the Parliament before. We are continuing to work together very constructively. Thank you.
Order.
My question is to the Minister for Home Affairs. Has the Minister apologised to the Secretary of her department following her verbal altercation?
Call to the Minister for Home Affairs and the Minister for Cyber Security.
Thanks, Speaker. And it looks like I'm going to get a bit of time on my feet today, which I'm very excited about. If I can just briefly, on indulgence, acknowledge that we've got Greek leaders from around Australia here with us, and I want to welcome them to our Parliament. It is a privilege to have you here. When the Greeks invented democracy, I'm not sure if this is exactly what they had in mind, but we're doing our absolute best. Now, Speaker, as I've said to the response to the previous question, I work very closely with the Secretary of my department. And let me talk about some of the work that we are doing so constructively together, Speaker, because as I have spoken to the Parliament about before, we have a Home Affairs Department with some very, very significant issues.
The Minister will pause. I want to hear from the Deputy Leader of the Opposition.
On relevance, Mr Speaker, point of order on relevance. It was a very direct question. Has the Minister apologised to the Secretary of her department?
The Minister was asked a specific question. She's not entitled to then start talking about broad portfolio issues, so she'll need just to keep her answer efficient to the question.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Speaker. And I'd say again to the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, my Secretary and I work very closely together. It's why I was very supportive of the decision of the Prime Minister and PM&C to appoint Secretary Foster to this role. We have an incredibly important clean-up job to do in the department work that we are doing. Speaker, don't take it from me. Take it from the litany of eminent Australians who have written reports about significant systemic issues in my department. Well, perhaps you should have waited before taking your point of order so quickly. Speaker, we have a significant job to do, but I'm committed to doing it because I'm here to serve the national interest, not the political interests of the Liberal Party.
The Minister will resume her seat.
My question is to the Minister for Home Affairs. Can the Minister confirm that other departmental staff were present at the time of her verbal altercation with the Secretary of her department?
Call to the Minister for Home Affairs and the Minister for Cyber Security.
Thank you, Speaker. And I think we can all see and agree that agility is not exactly their strong point here. This is the third variation of the exact same question.
Order.
And I'd say again to the Deputy Leader and I'd say again to the Parliament, I am incredibly proud to work with the Secretary of my department. We're doing really important things in Home Affairs and we have a very close and collaborative relationship.
My question is to the Minister for Home Affairs. On 12 February, the Department of Home Affairs told Senate estimates that 149 criminals, including 7 murderers, 37 sex offenders and 72 other violent criminals, had been released from immigration detention. 7 separate government sources have told the Sydney Morning Herald the Minister's office attempted to ensure. My question is to the Minister for Home Affairs, and I refer to media reports about interactions between the Secretary of the Department and the ministers she serves. The Minister for Immigration was asked about these reports and gave a clear denial. I ask the Minister again, did she verbally abuse the Secretary, causing the Secretary to leave her office in tears?
Call to the Minister for Home Affairs and the Minister for Cyber Security.
Speaker, this question has been asked in a number of different ways. I've answered it in a number of ways, all of which have been accurate. And I'd say to the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, I enjoy a very close and warm relationship with the Secretary of my department. She is a public servant of decades of standing, serving the national interest in our government. It's why I supported the Prime Minister's decision to appoint her to this position, and we continue that warm and collaborative relationship.
My question is to the Minister for Home Affairs. In 2018, the now Minister said that the culture in Parliament, quote, feels really toxic for normal people generally, but in particular for women. So there's a level of aggression, of conflict, of egocentrism that dominates the culture in Parliament House, and I think it's quite hard to handle, end quote. How is this consistent with the Minister's verbal abuse of her Secretary, causing her to leave her office in tears?
Order. Minister for Home Affairs and Minister for Cyber Security has the call.
And I thank the Deputy Leader of the Opposition for her question. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to repeat this to her. I have an incredibly warm and collaborative relationship with the Secretary of my department. We are doing very important work together, cleaning up the catastrophic mess left in Home Affairs by the Leader of the Opposition. We work on it together and we're proud of the work we do together.
Order.
My question is to the Minister for Home Affairs. Can the Minister now confirm that she verbally abused the Secretary of her department, causing the Secretary to leave her office in tears?
Call to the Minister for Home Affairs and the Minister for Cyber Security.
Yeah, and I'd say again to the Deputy Leader, with respect, she has now asked me the same question about 5 times, and I'm going to give you the same answer. And the answer is that Secretary Foster and I enjoy a very warm and collaborative relationship. We have an enormous job to deal with because we are together managing a department which was left in a catastrophic mess by the Leader of the Opposition. Cyber security, immigration, parts of national security that needed a big clean-up effort. We're working on it together. We do that in a warm and collaborative.
My question is to the Minister for Home Affairs. Can the Minister confirm that she verbally abused the Secretary of her department, causing the Secretary to leave her office in tears?
Give a call to the Minister for Home Affairs and the Minister for Cyber Security.
Thank you so much, Speaker. I thank the Deputy Leader of the Opposition for her question. The Secretary of my department and I have worked together really closely.
So there you have it. you have a whole host of questions asked of Susan Lee on Clare O'Neill as to whether she has a good relationship with her secretary in Home Affairs. And it's quite clear that she may not. Who knows? We don't know what happens in private, and there certainly wasn't any way that Clare was going to talk about any conversations that she might have had. I am sure that from time to time, ministers and their staff have heated conversations, particularly with the secretaries for those departments, because the heads of those departments might want to go in one direction and the politician may wish to go in another. But it was interesting watching these two women go at each other in the way that they did, and it's hard to say who was the winner. I would suggest that Clare might have come out fractionally ahead, but I'm sure that this particular item will probably hit the news tomorrow, particularly Sky News, or the, as I prefer to call it, the Liberal Party TV network. I'm sure they'll be focusing very much on this. I don't know what you think about this battle between these two women, and who do you think won at the end of the day. In the meantime, all I can say to you is take care, look after yourselves, and be safe.